Hey, everybody. Welcome back. This is episode I Don't Know What of Marketing Uncensored, Season 2. I'm Sam Tomlinson.
And I'm Colin Slattery. And Sam, what's going on?
Not a lot. It's been a quiet start to the year. We just had some AI laws come into effect. We had a little disagreement with a major supplier of oil,
A special operation in the Middle East?
a very
Tell me
special
if you've heard
operation.
that one before.
I mean, it was the most special of operations. Nothing else, though. It's a hell of an advertisement for the U.S. and Israeli defense industries.
Is
But
it?
I mean, it's not bad.
I mean, the asymmetric costs are real here.
They're getting up there, but I'm not sure if you heard, but we acquired all of Venezuela's oil reserves the month prior, so we're good.
Huh. And we didn't even pay anything for it. Didn't even pay the $50 million bounty.
Sure didn't. But anyway, let's. There's also been some Meta outages. Sam Altman has recently been accused of sexual assault again. Lots of fun things
I
are
mean,
happening.
good thing ChatGPT is garbage, so no one has to worry about that product anymore.
It's like we always said, they were never going to win.
Yeah. Although I will say our chosen horse, I think, is lagging behind a little bit right at the moment. So
I think they're number 2 right now,
I think that's true. I think that's true.
but I also think they own 16% of number 1.
The incestuous AI relationships are wild to me.
So I think we're doing okay.
Yeah. Buy the dip on Google stock. Hashtag not financial advice.
Let's say the dip on Google was not big enough to excite me. The dip on Meta was big enough to excite me.
You mean down 30-ish% in the last 6 months?
If I can pick up Meta at 504, 503, I'm very happy about that.
Zuck's still printing. We'll
Zuck
continue
will
to
always
print.
As long as people are vain and narcissistic, Zuck will make money.
Well, I don't see that ending anytime soon. So
I don't either.
I think he's okay.
So I think we're doing good. But anyway, let's talk about some of the other fun stuff. So I know we make jokes about war, but I mean, I'm not sure what you're seeing, but on our side, like we are seeing a lot of customers since this little special operation has started. There's been some customer negative sentiment kind of things coming through. Lower conversion rates,
I mean,
smaller orders, delayed closings for some.
yeah, who would think that gasoline going up, 40% or something over a 2-week period is going to impact the consumer? Yeah.
Not
I mean,
sure.
look, when costs go up, like consumers spend less money and we're in a consumer driven economy. Early effects, right? And we generally are going to see things first in advertising, right? We're kind of the tip of the
Mm-hmm.
spear, but the longer they're elevated, the worse it is. I mean, oil
Right.
is everything. It's literally everything.
Yep.
Oil and gas, it's the entire global economy. I mean, I'm sure you know this too, and listeners maybe not, but the entire hypothesis around the existence of like industrial like humanity is because of fossil fuels. Like it
Yep.
would be not have been possible without fossil fuels. So
Yeah, that's 100% correct.
when they get more expensive, it's bad because it's fertilizer, it's the cost of shipping. I mean, we're already, dealing with rate increases and planned rate increases from, UPS, USPS, FedEx, right? Like all of that. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, shipping your product to customers is going to be even more expensive because it's so affordable today, right? um, it's everything.
Yeah, but it's in
So
everything. That's the other thing I don't think people realize is like, yeah, it's gas, but it's also the active ingredient in hundreds of other products, right? Plastics, drugs, lipstick, they all use petroleum. When the cost of oil goes up, the inputs to all of those downstream things go up. It's the same thing. Like price of oil goes up, the price of concrete goes up because concrete needs diesel generators to mix it.
So Uh, I don't know if this will. I mean, I think long term this is more if it remains like this, more detrimental than the tariffs from last year. But it does have it can be more transient. Um,
Yeah,
hopefully.
agreed. I mean, it kind of ends. It ends in some interesting ways, and some of those are really good, and some of those are really not good.
I mean, we could have just chosen not to do this, but that's a different story for a different
That's a different.
podcast.
That's a yeah. That's a geopolitical podcast. We don't do those.
We just comment on how it impacts your ads. So if it is impacting your ads, don't be surprised. And the longer oil prices remain
Right.
elevated, expect the impact to grow.
Right. And the impact is likely going to grow more among lower socioeconomic classes or early career professionals, right? If you just think about how much disposable income do you have versus how much is the price of gas up? If you're
Yeah.
making $50,000 a year and you have a rent and your leftover after rent and student loans and all that is $300 and the price of gas goes up 40% and that takes you down to $200. Well, that's 33% of your discretionary income just went poof.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, if
So
you're,
if you're selling to those demos,
it's going to hurt
or
more.
are yeah, or are in something that's like very aggressively directly affected, like lots of plastic or something like that. Large objects that are already costly to ship, things like that.
Yeah. Speaking of things that are costly to ship or going to the moon, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, just doing a little flyby, but
This one, we're going to land there soon. Elon's got his
yeah,
plans. I mean, I just think it's cool. Like, I am genuinely
yeah.
happy to go back to the moon.
I mean, that assumes we went there in the first place.
Oh boy. And this is Conspiracies Uncensored.
No, I, I
Oh
am
boy.
I am a believer. I am a believer.
All
I
right.
believe the narrative that the government tells me.
Fantastic. You're a good citizen.
Yeah. Um, no, I mean it's exciting that we can still do stuff. That not everything is digital bullshit. Um,
Yeah, we can still do cool stuff. All right.
uh,
So, speaking of doing cool stuff in digital bullshit, perfect segue. Let's talk about the our two favorite things. Number one, AI ads, and number two, the potential death of AI ads. So, I guess first,
um, yeah, where you want to start? Uh,
let's start with the AI ads. Number one, I think I've heard from about 20 brands in the last month that they're trying to do AI UGC and all these AI ads. And I have seen more of them than I would ever want to in a lifetime. So, how do you like what are you seeing the same thing? Number one. Number two is if you are seeing that, what in the world are you doing so that you're just not another generic AI ad?
I mean, I think everyone's in for a very rude awakening when some of these AI laws come to pass. We're not using AI UGC because we have a whole suite of real human creators that we can work with. Um, and the cost of like quality UGC is actually relatively low from
Right.
just getting it from creator standpoint. Or I don't think it makes sense to mess around with legal gray area shit. Um, and soon to be legal, completely not gray area, but just illegal shit.
For real.
um, so yeah, I mean, we're definitely in the AI slop era. I know, you and I have been talking about that, and uh, I mostly opt out. Like, it's not for me.
I mean, I think you can also just get better performance from real human creators in many cases.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. And like good AI video is not that easy to produce.
No,
Like,
it does require, I think, substantially more inputs, more time, more refinement than people on Twitter give it credit for.
yeah. I mean, down to like keeping the model consistent, like that takes effort.
Yeah, it
So,
does. I mean, the only area we've used it for is translations, where it's been
Sure.
really nice to just like modify it so it looks like the person is actually speaking the correct language. Like it sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's kind of hard to find a Korean influencer that's going to, speak fluent, perfect Korean.
Sure.
But
I mean,
you
I
know
can see
what?
that use case for sure.
It's fantastic because now they speak Korean. Or like, a dentist that does a ton of work in the Spanish speaking community, but his Spanish is real bad. All of a sudden, he starts to sound a little bit more authentic and it's good. I mean, the patients are going to be in for a surprise when they're sitting there in the chair and he's got the thing out and he's like, not good Spanish, but
No, no, no hablas español. That's AI.
pretty much. But you know what? They're in the chair. And at that point, my job is done.
Yeah.
Cavity is
Um,
the same in all languages.
my God. um,
It's true. So I think
yeah.
that's the solution, honestly, is yeah, it's an AI slop era. So just don't lean into the slop. Don't try to make
I
better
also think
slop.
like n- creative for AI, I honestly believe is like the worst use case of AI.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
eh, eh, video editors are not that expensive. Graphic designers are not that expensive. UGC like content is not that expensive or difficult to acquire. Why are you spending resources trying to solve like very affordable problems?
Because no one's ever done the math. I mean, is the honest to God's answer. They just look at the end invoice and they're like, oh, well, we spent 50,000 on a designer and a videographer or an editor, and we spent another 25,000 to acquire all this. So we're in for 75 grand. That's a big number. AI could do it for free. And then you start adding up all these monthly subscriptions and all the compute and all the credits and all the time. And all of a sudden you spent $85,000 to save $75,000.
And you still need people to use the AIs and build the systems and
Yep.
maintain the systems and fix the outputs that are not quite right and fix the labels on your stupid images because it says dip lab instead of what it's supposed to say. Like,
Yeah. But we're doing AI, Colin. Get on board. The
oh,
CEO said we
I'm
had to
on
do
board.
AI.
Yeah. And just pick the wrong place to apply.
Picked the wrong place to do it.
But apparently you can build a whole multi-billion dollar business with only AI,
Allegedly. And a healthy keeping
allegedly.
of potential fraud, or at the very least,
Um,
lots of FDA letters.
yeah. Yeah. We are, of course, talking about the New York Times article about Medvi, which is allegedly going to do $1.8 billion in revenue with
Two
two
employees,
employees this year. And
which
I'm going to
unbelievable.
say bullshit. I'm going to say bullshit. And I'm going to say bullshit because I manage ads for multiple nine figure GLP 1 and telehealth brands. Nine plus figures. Sorry, my mistake.
So is
Um,
Medvi a client of yours? You have some insider information here.
I don't, but I understand the industry very well. And it's, relatively loosey goosey, but it's not that loosey goosey. The math ain't mathin' for their 1.8 billion. I would say eh, Hims is a very well run company. They
Hmm.
do a very good job of um, telehealth. They're very savvy operators over there, and they have 2,000 employees and do is it 2 point something billion in revenue.
They do a fair amount, but I want
And
to say, so let's look it up. Yeah, 2.35 billion in top line
there you go.
across their full suite.
Yeah,
But
and
that's
that's
not
not
just
just
GLP
GLP
ones.
ones.
That's
Yeah, that's. hair
That's
loss,
hair
erectile
loss.
dysfunction,
They also have an entire hers division. So that's all
TRT, like all
they've
kinds of
got.
stuff.
And to your point, I mean, they're a very well run company. And the product is the actual experience is quite good. They have one of the better ones.
And that's the most important part. And I think if you haven't worked in pharma and telehealth, like you are selling a literal commodity product.
Hmm.
Like it price is like the number one lever that you have. And so retention becomes a challenge if people can just shop around and be like, "Oh, I'm going to get the first month welcome offer or whatever." Like you need a great brand, great supporting assets, good sales to upsell them into or cross sell them into other service lines. This is why,
Hmm.
Hims it has all of these different
Right.
things because you need a bigger LTV so that you can absorb, 400, 500, $600 cats.
Yeah.
Um,
Correct.
and you need margin, which comes from not outsourcing every single thing. Like,
Correct. Vertical
you know,
integration
you
does help.
pay you pay the compounding pharmacy, you pay the like
The legit
doctor
scripts.
service
Yeah.
to do whatever. Like you're uh, like you pay affiliates, you pay Meta, right? Like you're spending all of this money to third parties. Like there's not a lot left there for you, and the large margins have already been competed away, right? Like there's been
Hmm.
massive downward pressure on compounded GLP-1s for years. Like
It's not going away.
it's just and it's just that's how it works, right? Like new markets open up, margins are great, more entrants come in, margins go down. Like
Wait, you mean
this
markets
is
work?
like
What?
who knew? Who knew? So there's no
As an
way this
aside, if
chucklehead.
anybody's listening to this that doesn't believe that making more housing will reduce the cost of rent, please listen to this and then just substitute housing for GLP-1s. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's supply and demand is a real thing.
Correct.
Um, Number of competitors in a market.
Yes.
This is why we don't like monopolies.
Depends on how much of the
Well,
stock of the monopoly I own.
uh, I was gonna, yeah, it depends if you're the owner of said monopoly. Yes, correct. Then we love them.
Yeah. Monopolies for me, not for thee.
That's right.
I like that.
Um,
I like that approach more. But
yeah,
I think it's a valid. The entire point about this GLP-1 business is completely valid. Like it is a commodity product. It is an experience-based product. I don't buy the
it's an
1.8
LTV
billion
game. Like again, like these GLP-1 companies also always expand into other things because that
because
increases your allowable CAC.
right,
Like if you can cross sell them into TRT, you're like, all right, great. This is an LTV play. And you already have a
right.
therapeutic relationship with them. So,
But you also just have a huge data advantage because presumably during any of these intakes, you're also hearing what other issues they're struggling with. So now it's not just when you expand to a new service line, like if you are, we'll use HIMS as an example, right? Like HIMS has health data on millions of Americans. They know who's struggling with hair loss or ED or whatever other issue you pick. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, we got GLP-1s. Well, what do GLP-1s help? Anybody that's obese. Well, I have height, weight, all this stuff for a million customers. Well, I introduce GLP-1s as a product. I can email that entire segment directly and be like, yo, you're already a customer. That's potentially what, tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue at next to no marginal cost from an acquisition perspective. Simply because
yeah,
I'm
I mean,
leveraging the existing data that I already have to be like, hey, I got this new expansion product. I got these existing customers. Go team.
yeah. I mean, there's even restrictions around how you can use that data too. I mean, of course, this guy allegedly, if he's doing lots of revenue, clearly not following uh, any regulation at all. but the other thing too, right, is like, and you know this from
Hmm.
anything that's a subscription, like you're never first purchase profitable ever, right? And so in order to scale rapidly, your customer acquisition, like most of your customers are always going to be new customers. And
Right.
so like you are losing money every single month, and the amount that you're losing is going up because you're outrunning your payback periods. Like
Correct.
in order to have that exponential growth. So like, oh wow, we did, you know, 50 million in revenue this month and 45 of it was new customer revenue or 40 million of it was new customer revenue. And we lost $30 million dollars this month because we got to wait for the payback. But if you're constantly outrunning the payback, you're just increasing how much you're losing in any given month.
Right. Yeah, you're just it's not a good business model. And the problem that you run into is unless you have the capital to support that, or you're basically running a giant Ponzi scheme for a period until it works, it's not real good.
Yeah. And retention is hard. Again, as we've talked about, because it's a commodity product. And
Right.
I bought it at an introductory offer at $99. And now my renew is $199. Why don't I
Right. I'm
just
just gonna
go to another one
get
and get their
another
$99 introductory offer and
right
switch?
and
Because
just
there's no problem with that.
correct. I mean, the only I guess the one thing that I'm a little annoyed about with this whole, Medbee situation, whether or not it's true, I have no idea. None of us do. Like, but you could see a world where federal regulators or certain overzealous Congress people, cough, cough, AOC, um, start to use stories like this as an excuse to try to tightly regulate telehealth, which me, I as a person, I don't like that idea because I think telehealth has been a wonderful good for a lot of people.
I think there needs to be stricter and faster enforcement of the rules that
I
are
think
already in place.
I agree with that completely because I agree with you also that it is virtually impossible for a company that wants to do everything by the book and follow both the letter and spirit of the law to outcompete a company that is willing to bend rules. And when there is no corrective mechanism on the latter, the ones who get hurt the most are the companies that are actually doing the right thing.
Yeah. And again, like we see this in supplements, right? And to be fair,
The
it's
Wild West.
less yes, it's less of a problem in pharma, although it is still a problem, but there are real laws and like
Yeah, and real
regulations in
compliance
place in pharma.
departments. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
supplements is kind of the Wild West.
Yeah. Where if you're not lying in your ads and on your landing pages, you basically cannot compete.
Yeah, if you're not lying, you're not trying.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that just I do think there's enough regulations on the books at the moment that if they were, like you said, were enforced, you could eliminate 80 to 90% of this problem.
Yeah. It's not a new laws problem, it's an enforcement problem. That's it. And it's been an
Yeah.
enforcement problem for a long time.
It's been an enforcement problem since like the Amway days when Amway was getting away with selling like those ridiculous vitamins that they claimed would like cure cancer. Not really, but they basically promised everything. It's absurd.
It's what's old is new again, just an easier sales
Yeah.
medium.
Yeah. You don't have to call your family and friends and get them to buy vitamins anymore. Now you just generate fake doctors and sell them to people on the internet with AI.
Yeah. Whitelisted fake doctor pages and um yeah,
Yeah.
and Zuck doesn't care because Zuck is printing. So
Yes. Please notify the rest of the people who are buying the stock. Like it is, Zuck is doing just fine. I need my Facebook stock over 600 so I can exit some higher cost lots. That'd be nice. Thank you.
oh
Um,
man. Uh,
but speaking of fake doctors, let's talk about New York, your home state.
yeah. Great state of New York. Well,
Formerly
uh,
great state of New York.
also formerly home state of New York.
Oh, you officially moved?
I am a Florida resident and not a New York resident. Um,
Whew, that was
I'm
fast.
I merely visit New York.
I'm
That's
sorry. Let me
let's
correct the record here. Colin's former home state of New York, which he left, I'm sure, not at all due to their insane tax policy.
I mean, I don't live there. I'm there less than 180 days a year. So
So you do not live in New York.
it's correct. Correct. But it is a great place to visit.
It's a
Q2 in New York is
fantastic,
lovely.
it's a fantastic place to visit. That's why I only
That's
visit.
right.
I do not live in New York. But anyway,
um, strict new AI laws being done at the New York
whew,
level. And
yeah,
also,
that will.
I do want to get on a soapbox briefly here. I hate state by state enforcement and creation of a mishmash of regulatory bullshit that you have to navigate. Like, obviously, the federal government is useless, but this is exactly the sort of thing where federal regulation should exist so that it is fully standardized throughout the country. So,
Yeah, I agree with that
soapbox.
completely. Yes, agreed. So, New York's fantastic new AI law, S something or other, goes into effect on June 9th, officially.
Sounds right.
Sounds right. June 9th, June 10th. This is not legal advice. Consult your attorney. And the way this was written, you can tell it was written by a lot of people who don't know how media works,
As most laws
as
are
most
written by
laws
people who have
are.
no idea how things work. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much how that goes. It makes it a violation to not conspicuously disclose any advertisement that contains an AI generated figure writ large. And each ad is a separate violation of the law, with the first violation carrying a $1,000 penalty and each subsequent violation carrying a $5,000 penalty. So that's fun.
And written with the clarity of all laws, with nothing up to interpretation like conspicuous or figure or anything else.
Algorithmically modified, I believe, is also a phrase that's been tossed around. So I'm not sure if that means if we do some touch ups, where the line between, hey, we just helped your makeup look better to no, 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 no good.
Yeah. So uh
So that's
be
fun.
careful with running ads in New York with AI anything in the next couple of months
Yeah,
without
basically.
disclosure.
And we're not entirely sure what the disclosure has to look like. So good luck.
Yeah, have fun, guys.
Uh,
Um,
we have, yeah, zero ability to predict any of that, which is going to be super fun when New York starts slamming violations around.
and they will. We have a budget shortfall, guys. Sorry, New
You
York has a budget shortfall.
Not you. Not you. Florida does not have a budget shortfall.
Well, I'm sure Florida has a budget shortfall too.
Florida's got a New
uh,
York windfall, is what Florida has.
but yeah, they're gonna go after people for sure.
I mean, why would
And
you not?
and the thing is that you're like, oh, I'm too small to get hit. Initially, maybe, right? But like it goes down the chain, and we've seen this with the lawsuits around the fake discount pricing, right? Was it Robert Frund? I think
Yeah.
that's his
Yeah.
name.
Robert Frund.
Love that guy. But like we originally saw the fake discount lawsuits hitting, major nine,
Mhm.
10 figure brands. And now it's down to tiny little fucking businesses, right? Like
Of course it
if
is.
at some point they will get to you, it will be your time to pay and
I mean,
they will get you.
There's a 3 year statute of limitations on this. There is no requirement that the ad must be live at the time a violation is issued. So you could be, and all of the ad libraries, as we all know, are public. Meta publishes one, YouTube publishes one, TikTok publishes one, et cetera, et cetera.
Your ads will be scraped. They will be stored. They will
Right.
be
And
put into a file.
some 2L student that gets an internship at the something, something, something New York office of bullshit is going to spend their summer looking through every single file. And, the part that I'm honestly more worried about, to be honest, is the flip side of this. So I think everybody talks about, oh, just don't use AI in your ads. Like, sure. Okay. Yes, that is a solution you could do. But here's my question. Let's just play the enforcement action out, right? Like you get some 2L student who's all giggity to, make a difference in the world or some other bullshit. And they start looking through these ad libraries. You know as well as I do that some of these AI models are actually pretty fucking realistic.
Yep.
What happens when a attractive guy or girl is in a video and the 2L student's been looking at videos for the last 7 hours and they look at it and they're like, yeah, you know what? That looks fake. She looks too good. He looks too good. There's no way he's got that six pack. They're just going to send you a violation. They don't, the impetus of the burden of proof under this law shifts to the advertiser. So even if you are playing by the rules, there is a significant probability that if your ads are sufficiently good looking in any kind of way, right, polished, well done, etc., you're going to get cited for violation because they're just going to assume it's AI. And then it's on you to then prove that that actually wasn't AI generated.
And it's definitely a non-zero probability that this will happen. I
So,
mean, it
I
will
mean,
definitely happen.
but I'm just saying from even a compliant advertiser who has not used AI needs to be able to prove that they did not use AI, which means you need to actually have documentation of the brief, the model, the creator, the contract. Any of those things that you used, you need to be able to now store all that documentation for if and when the state of New York decides that you did the AI badness.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And
It just
then
creates a
California is
huge
going to do it. Like
Washington
every other
State,
state's.
Connecticut.
Yep. And they're all
Yeah.
going to be slightly different, the compliance rules. So
Yeah. So there are currently 15 states that have enacted or advanced legislation that regulates generative AI content in advertising. There's another handful that have regulated it in specific sectors only with different rules than the regular stuff. Love that. So now it's not just a state by state patchwork, it's an industry by state patchwork.
is- what's going to happen is they're going to be like the ad reads for gambling sites where they have like 20 different state like gambling hotline numbers that they have to read at the end of them.
Yeah.
So we need some federal legislation that supersedes
Hmm.
the state regulations and have one
Yeah.
policy.
One policy would be great. Just, I
Yeah.
mean, I know no one likes banking, but at least in like banking and financial advertisements, the rules are really goddamn clear. The text must be this size. It must be on the screen for this many seconds. It must be X, Y, and Z. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's true in well, uh, at least in some mediums. Like it's true with like pharmaceutical advertising on television,
Correct.
right? Like very specific rules about what you can and
Right.
cannot say.
All those
Um,
pharmaceutical companies are not putting that whole disclosure at the end of their ads out of the goodness of their hearts. They're putting it there because that is exactly what the FDA has required for advertising the product.
and honestly, uh, consistent rules equally enforced. That's amazing. That's the good stuff right there.
Hmm.
Um, level playing fields. We love
Yeah,
to see it.
we love to see it. But I mean, the ones that I'm like legitimately worried about. So Massachusetts has one that they just um, put forward called the Artificial Intelligence Disclosure Act. That covers any content, not an image of a person, any content substantially created or modified by generative AI.
It's a whole lot of
That is
modifying words.
that is everything made by Photoshop in today.
Substantially, like, what does that mean? Who knows? Like,
What is the difference between substantially created and modified? I have no idea, but
I'm
somebody
sure
is going to
we'll
find
find
out.
out. Yeah, a lawyer's gonna find that line, and it's gonna be an expensive line to find.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
I mean, the part that I'm just like, okay, so I mean, Colin, we talked about like, real creators, right? Like you have a real creator that does a completely standard thing. You send them a script that Phil wrote for a Facebook ad. The creator sets up their real camera in their real apartment and records them really saying all that shit. They send you back the footage, and one of your video editors chops it up in the Adobe Creative Suite. Well, the Adobe Creative Suite specifically uses AI tools. Did you substantially modify their original file with an AI tool?
that is a great question. One that will be litigated, which
Yeah,
is exactly what you don't want.
correct. We don't. My general approach to the world is it would be better if lawyers wrote less of the rules.
It's like, as with all things, it's about clarity, consistency, and even enforcement. Right? It's like
That's it.
tariffs. Like even who like okay, put the tariffs on, but like they're consistent, they're evenly applied, they're not dicked around. It's like we can work with that, but it can't change. It can't be shifting. It can't be vague and unclear. Um, so yeah, have fun with all those AI ads. And what's going to
Yeah,
happen is there's just going to be like massive fucking disclosures on the bottom third of every ad.
right. And it's just,
Everyone's performance is going to go down.
yeah, it's just going to suck. Like, I mean, I also just, it may be like we don't really use a ton of like AI generated things, like AI generated people in our ads, but like, I don't give a shit. Like, what does it matter to me? I don't care.
I mean, I do think testimonials should be enforced, but you
Sure.
know,
Enforce a testimonial. Don't care about that. I mean, although in fairness, like how is having an AI read a testimonial any different than having a paid actor read the testimonial?
well, you're also supposed to say paid portrayal as well.
Sure. And they do in like white font on a gray background in this big. Like, okay,
Well,
sure. Grandma's
compliant
definitely going to.
advertisers do.
Yes,
There are a
correct.
lot of non-compliant advertisers, and I think I would actually venture that the vast majority of advertisers are non-compliant with current laws and regulations, and
That's probably
they're
true.
only going to be less compliant as more shit gets layered on. And so
I mean, we
um,
still don't have
it's all fun
advertising.
and games until you get sued.
Yeah. I mean, and it also just candidly doesn't help. Like I'm sure you've seen this with some of your clients. We've gotten a few. We've gotten a few even for very sites that have been like run through very very well funded legal and compliance teams. Like we've gotten a notice recently for one of our client sites that very compliant. Like they had a team of lawyers go through their privacy policy and make sure that we have cookie opt-ins and all this stuff. And we got a notice from this lawyer that he was going to try to sue us under the pen register statute in California because sending information from a browser to a server without his permission was wiretapping.
Yep. Have seen those going around too. I probably know the law firm that sent you the thing.
Like, no. No, 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 no. That's how the internet works. Like you put in a website and that's how the website comes to your computer, dum dum. But this is why we can't have nice things, lawyers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And having a modern technology regulated by boomers.
correct. Or worse, you have a law on the books from the 60s that you refuse to update because you don't understand how to update it. Like the law
And
was written 20 years before Apple computers started producing PCs 30 years before MySpace, 40 years before Facebook.
Yeah.
We still
It's
think it's good to use that law to try to, we think that's a good choice?
it's very obvious applications, no possibility for
No,
um,
no, no,
externalities.
none. We're good. Good news. If
Oh
you're very,
man.
very bad at thinking strategically or even one step in front of yourself, there's always a job for you in a state legislature.
Yeah. And the pay is pretty decent for the people who take those sorts of jobs.
That's true.
And the graft is even better. Like lots of opportunities for duffel
It's
bags full
true.
of money and nice watches, things like that.
It's very true. So, all right, now that we have sufficiently criticized our society and governance, let's talk about other stuff. So if everything sucks right now, what's actually working? Let's do that. That's a fun segment to end on. Let's end with some optimism.
Uh the same thing that's been working, it just continues to work, which is lots of whitelisting on Meta partnership ads and YouTube. If you guys are still not doing YouTube, it's still underpriced. It's still great. Um, but yeah, I think our best performing clients between 30 and 60% of the ad spend is partnership ads. And that percentage increases every month.
Yeah, partnership ads are great. 100%. Ironically enough, I think we have seen a lot more success with search of late. So that's been fun. I don't know what it is, but it's been good of late.
Maybe it's all those great AI overviews.
Maybe. But search ads have been I know for a while people were a little bit hard on search because I mean obviously you have a limited surface area, but the number of advertisers who have backed out of search or diminished their investment in it has resulted in more attractive economics for many of our clients. So not upset to
And
see.
little note on search: if you are a dynamic search ads lover, those are going away. So just prepare
Yeah,
yourselves. I don't think they've said anything officially, but
they haven't, but they're gone.
they're enjoy your AI Max is what I'm saying.
Pretty much. Although
Yeah.
AI Max does get first priority along with PMax into AI mode ads, so you might not be too upset.
Yeah, and again, like I actually think the loss of DSA into merge is not that big a deal, but it is going to
Well,
be
it's the
sad because
same.
you're going to have to restructure all your shit.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing with call only ads went bye bye last month, right? Officially last month.
Was it last month? I mean, I haven't done call only ads in such a long time.
There's still some clients that we had call only ads for because they work. Like if you're a lawn service business or something, it's fantastic.
Click to
Click to call,
call
man.
tracking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. That's the end of an era right there.
The back when the majority of their money was made through home services.
Yeah, now it's GLP-1s.
Yeah, GLP-1. A lot of searches for Ozempic and Wegovy on Google.
Well, people want to be thin. Slash, I'm pretty sure the side effects of any of those could be really, really terrible, and it would still be better than the long-term health benefits of obesity or
The health benefits.
health risks of the benefits can be negative.
Ah, yeah. No, I mean, I think, and I think this will probably happen is um, insurance companies will start paying for GLP-1s, and
I mean, it's a no-brainer for them.
Medicare will start paying for GLP-1s, and so
It's a
everyone's going to be on
no-brainer.
a GLP-1.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
It can fix our gambling addiction problem among Gen Z.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Still requires further study. Check back in a decade.
Off off label use, off label, because it's already off label
Yeah,
for weight loss.
correct. What do I know? But anyway, that's it for this week. It's been fun. It's going to be weird, but we got this. It'll be fine.
And I'll be back in New York. I'll be back in my big chair for all y'all starting next week. And yeah,
Yeah.
start turning those AI ads off in New York so you don't get $100,000 invoice from the Department of Revenue.
Yeah, maybe do that. It's a good life choice. All right. Well, until next week, I'm Sam.
And I'm Colin, and this was Marketing Uncensored.
Yeah, like, click, subscribe, do the things that you're supposed to do. Don't be a bad.
Ask us questions. We'll answer them.
Bye.